Welcome to RDG Kitchen. You know, we've talked about the Great American Burger with the special sauce on it, how wonderful that is, and we were thinking about what's another great American dish that kind of rivals the Great American Hamburger. Well, it's kind of obvious. It's the fried chicken sandwich. First, you have to start with great chicken. So I have some beautiful farm hens here, really big chickens. These are the breasts, really gorgeous. I'm going to start by taking that wing off and then pulling off the chicken skin. Nothing more than pulling it off. Now you can see how big and plump that breast is and how thick it is. Really too thick, I think, to fry well. So to make a great fried chicken sandwich, we'll actually come in and just, in that tradition of scallopini from Italy or almost like a Wiener Schnitzel from Germany, we just kind of split it out very flat so it's a little bit thinner. Almost enough where you can kind of split it in two, and you now get this wonderful chicken but much, much thinner. So it's going to fry up moist and tender but really crispy on the outside and make a great chicken sandwich. It's almost like a little veal scallopini but made out of chicken. So then to fry the chicken breast, we'll use the old American Southern technique of buttermilk and flour. Always one of those questions I always get. Do you put in the buttermilk first, then the flour, or the flour, then the buttermilk? Or so how I always remember is first you put in a little seasoned flour, which sticks very easily and picks up the moisture of the chicken. This is just flour with a little bit of salt. Then we put it in the buttermilk, which has a little bit of egg in it, and the buttermilk will stick immediately to the flour that's on the chicken. So it picks up a little bit of that buttermilk. Then you transfer it back to the flour very gently, and now the flour will stick to that buttermilk batter, just to give it a little thin, crispy coat. We don't want too much thick breading on the outside. So now some nice hot oil, we're going to fry the chicken. Since we cut it nice and thin and very delicately floured it'll come out very crisp and very tender. Some little tips on frying chicken. One is just an old grandma trick. Marinate the chicken in buttermilk overnight. That's what we like to do. One day ahead, you just leave it overnight, and for some reason, that buttermilk makes that chicken just really moist and tender. I always love doing it. Just overnight in the refrigerator in straight buttermilk. Little pinch of salt, little pinch of pepper. Now when you're going to fry chicken, if you want it nice and crispy, one little tip is don't crowd it too much in the fry. You're better off frying one or two at a time and kind of keeping them warm on the side and putting them all in the pan at one time. Because as it fries, it lets some steam off, some water, and that will sometimes make the crust a little bit soggy and they cook kind of slowly. So be patient, just do a couple at a time. So one of the keys when you're frying chicken, I like it thin because it tends to be 3 or 4 minutes to cook it, and it's really hard to tell when it's done because it's in the fryer and you can't really touch it. But one of the key indicators is you watch the size of the bubbles coming off of the chicken in the fryer. And when it first starts to fry, it'll tend to sink a little bit more and the bubbles are quite large. Toward the end, just as the meat finishes cooking, the chicken rises up a little bit and the bubbles get more furious and more tiny. You see how they're just starting to really rush up now, and that means the chicken is just about fully cooked and starting to release a little bit of moisture that comes off in the fryer. So usually it's, again, bubbling slowly to start and then very fierce at the end. So now you can see how rapidly those bubbles are coming up on the edge, how it's kind of fizzing a little bit, and if we pull it up, you'll be able to see how beautifully brown that chicken is, very crispy, like a really crisp little skin on the outside. So right out of the fry, I like to put just a little bit of salt over the top, so it kind of clings to that crust, gives that nice crunchy, salty bite to the fried chicken. Really beautiful. It's so nice and golden brown. It just smells wonderful. Okay, so now to build the fried chicken sandwich, first got a wonderful bun, toasted bun. Then we put our crispy chicken breast right on that. We're then going to top it with a little bit of this kind of crunchy fresh cabbage slaw with just a little bit of olive oil and fresh lime juice on it. You get the crispy chicken and then the sort of really kind of crunchy slaw, like fried chicken with slaw, and we just kind of pile that up. some reason, the taller it gets, the better it seems to taste. We kind of pile that up. Then we got a little special sauce that we're going to put on it. Always fun to have a special sauce. And this one for fried things, it's a little buttermilk dressing, kind of like a ranch dressing. Creamy. And then we add, I like to add a big chunk of black pepper to it, because fried chicken and black pepper is very meaty, very tasty. A little bit of hot mustard that we're going to stir in. So it makes like this almost like a black pepper ranch dressing. Really creamy. And then I don't know, since we're here in Texas, I always have to add a little bit of chopped serrano to it, which is really wonderful to give you that kind of little spicy kick that goes so well with the crispy chicken. And this is one of those things, you can add more, you can add less. So that kind of gives us a nice little tangy special sauce. And we're going to put that right over the top. So the creamy sauce, the crunchy slaw, the crispy chicken. Oh, I can't wait to take a bite of this. Then, because you know it's summer and watermelon is killer at the summer, instead of the usual French fries with it, because we already have the crispy fried chicken, we make a little watermelon and mint salad, basically watermelon, lime, beautiful fresh mint leaves, a little crunchy salt on the watermelon to really kind of bring out and balance that sweetness. And that goes to the chicken sandwich. And then here's the final part. We put the top of that toasted bun on. Is that tall enough? And we put a little skewer through to hold it in place so it makes it to the table. And then we also add a little skewer to the watermelon so that you can eat the watermelon right off the skewer like that. It's almost the closest thing to, I kind of think of it as a fried chicken picnic sandwich. And I tell you, it's really good. In fact, it's so good, for the month of August, I'm going to do it at lunch for $10. So come on in and see us for that crispy chicken sandwich. You're going to love it.